Libertarian E. Ujigata. In Tennessee, 4 former Memphis police officers charged with the murder of Tyree Nichols are in federal court this week. The black man died 2 days after being beaten by the officers during a traffic stop in 2023. Demetrius Hill, Tadarius Bean, Emmett Martin II, and Justin Smith were scheduled for pre-trial hearings both yesterday and today ahead of their federal hearing in September. And that's the latest on Mark Northam, your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BLAnews.com. Seasons change, why not your tech? Upgrade now during the Dell Technologies Summer Sale event and save on select PCs like the XPS 16, powered by Intel Core processors. Exceptional prices await you at Dell.com/deals. This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson. The LA Sparks got some revenge on Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. After losing to the Fever Friday at Crypto.com, the Sparks beat the Fever by 6 in Indianapolis Tuesday night. The Sparks are 2-4 in the first month of the WNBA season. 22 points for Sparks guard Kia Nurse. The Sparks overcame a 30-point performance by Clark. The Sparks are at Chicago Thursday night. The Dodgers swept the Mets in New York to snap a 5-game losing streak. The Dodgers and Mets played 2 games Tuesday to make up for Monday's rainout. The Angels beat the Yankees by 1. Taylor Ward's 2-run double in the 8th was the game winner. The Boston Celtics will have to wait a little longer to know who they will play in the NBA Finals. The Minnesota Timberwolves avoided a sweep in the Western Conference Finals with a 5-point win at Dallas. Game 5 is Thursday in Minneapolis. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, Tavis Smiley here. We're getting closer to June 18th, and time is running out for you to register to join us for our historic symposium live on C-SPAN, Tuesday, June 18th, 4 to 7 p.m. at the California Science Center in Exposition Park. Admission is free, but you must register at KBLA1580.com right now if you want to be in the audience when the nation will see for the first time ever a stage full of brilliant black folk talking about the urgency of now. Climate justice, climate equity, climate resilience. It's all going down. Well, it's actually all going up. Tuesday, June 18th, 4 to 7 p.m. live from the California Science Center in Exposition Park. Again, admission is free, but we're filling up fast. So if I were you, I would log on right now to KBLA1580.com to reserve your seat. Caring about the climate, caring about the community. We're KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Fast. I'ma put you up on the schedule 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7 days. We got a lot to talk about, so much to cut and drill. Unapologetically progressive to the KBLA 1580 to get the mess. For your ancestors' favorite radio station. First back on talk radio on that side of the nation. You and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Tavis Smiley making sure this station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We host the black and brown and others find unity. Underground, always down with the movie. So we tune in, first things first with the Prima. Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis. KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. This show is called First Things First. My first thing, definitely my first thing today, my first thing every day, giving Thanksgiving praises, asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders, and let's go. It's hump day. We got a lot to talk about. As usual, the way this show works, the first hour we focus on the left coast, what's going on the Pacific Ocean side of town. Hour 2, we go national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour, we do a deep dive on a hot topic or with a person of interest. This happens to be a wealth-building Wednesday, so we will be featuring a black-owned business. And sometimes we feature others, could be BIPOC, socially innovative, small local businesses, all kinds of things, and also programs programs that can help you to build your enterprise. So all that happens every Wednesday, top of our second hour. So yeah, let's get to it. We got a lot to do, and I'm so excited to have with me live in the studio a licensed clinical psychologist, not just because I need help, but you might too. She serves as Associate Program Chair and the Director of the Psychological Trauma Studies Specialization in the Masters in Psychology program at Antioch University, Los Angeles, and she's also the Executive Director of Champion Counseling Center at Faithful Central Bible Church. Her areas of inquiry, her focus on relationships, coupling, insight, and empowerment, psychological trauma, psychotherapy with African American clients, and also the integration of Christianity and psychology. And welcome back, Dr. Erica Holmes.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me on again.
Yes, and Dr. Holmes going to roll up in here glamorous, wide awake, and ready to go.
Look, trying to be like you, Dominique.
The sisterhood is real. I'm so happy to see you. I was thinking about a conversation this morning as I was getting ready and thinking to myself, I wonder what Dr. Holmes is seeing right now from people. Because I feel like there's many things happening in the world and in our regular, lives that could be exacerbating trauma or creating challenges. And it's almost like, well, what is it that's really getting to black folks right now?
That's an interesting question. And I was kind of having this conversation yesterday, and if I could identify a few areas that I see people struggling, I would say that there's kind of three that I kind of see at this point. Number one, I see that people are overwhelmed and burned out. They're not taking care of themselves as the restrictions have lifted since the shutdown of COVID. It's like people started going 100 million miles an hour,
Right.
and they aren't stopping. Another area which is related is I see people are more sensitive. There's like a fragility to them, which is very interesting. The way that they're interpreting what people say, how people look at them. So it's like people are really fragile. There's like some anxiety there. And then the third area that I'm starting to see a lot, and again, I don't know if this is post-pandemic, but people are having a lot of challenges and conflicts in relationships. And I'm not just talking about intimate or romantic relationships, but sister-girlfriends, family relationships, parents to children, whether it's adult 60-year-old parents with their 30-year-old children. Like a lot of conflict, friends, a lot of conflicts, which is, it's more than I would say I saw pre-pandemic.
So you trace these areas of challenge to the pandemic mostly. Did we regress? Did we forget how to relate to other people? Or
I think it's both and. I think that there's some social, I'll use your words, some social regression or challenges around remembering how to be social, and I think that that's layered on top of a near-death experience.
wow, okay. Because even if you didn't actually go on a ventilator, it was all around us. Is that why?
Exactly. It was all around us. I don't know anyone who does not know someone who passed away from COVID.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. And so the threat of death and the reality of our mortality, I think it shook some things up, and people still haven't found their footing again.
It's funny because, I feel like as black people, we kind of constantly deal with that on some level, whether it's attacks by the police or just the weathering and sort of day-to-day, impact of living in a white supremacist society. But this is a level up, or is it the layering on? How do you see that?
I think it's both and. When we've lived in a constant state of oppression, right, since the ships left the west coast of Africa. So we've lived in a constant state of oppression and threat. And for many of us,
present day, we kind of habituated to that. That's kind of like our normal. It's there in the back of our minds, like we could have an encounter, or we can go into this place, and some white folks are going to say something, like that, but that's kind of our normal. Like, we've learned to kind of put that in the back of our mind, ignore it in a sense, so that we can get through our day-to-day. Right, like adapting to trauma, to constant trauma. Exactly. Not occasional trauma. Right, and so it's kind of like the abnormal became normal. So then does COVID become the straw that broke the camel's back kind of situation? Exactly. It was something that we couldn't ignore. I think the proximity of the number of people who were ill, hospitalized, and died, shattered the kind of frost and veils that we have over our eyes that don't allow for us to acknowledge what we go through every day. Like, we couldn't use that coping anymore. It's here, it's in your face, so you can't just do. No. I'm laughing because I always go like, that's one of my little sayings, but I think, I do want to talk to you about ways we can reacclimate ourselves to human society and sort of shake off that trauma and what it takes, what it will take. I've been very concerned about how we help our children with that, because I don't think we're doing it. I really feel like we gave it a lot of lip service, and as a mom of a child who just went from high school to college, I didn't see all of the things we were promised as far as supports and extra considerations of what they went through. I didn't see any of that. I see a whole bunch of kids who didn't get a prom, didn't have a normal high school experience, and now they're expected to show up at college. And actually I have a sister, a couple of sisters who do this, but one sister in particular who's a professor who's telling me the kids are coming and they're not mature. They're not ready like what she would normally see. It's like she's got a whole bunch of 18, 19-year-old babies. They missed out on 2-3 years of socialization. The time when they were supposed to be engaging in more mature social interactions, more autonomous decision-making, which is what happens in high school. Like, they missed out on that. They were at home with their parents in their room. Yeah. So, do we just have to let them figure it out on their own and catch up? I just feel like, and I think of the younger ones, too, that are, were elementary and stuff, and the kind of trauma of a big, scary, worldwide event. Like, there's nowhere to hide from COVID. Right. And I think that part of what I was mentioning earlier is a huge factor. I think that a lot of adults, because we have lived, and we do live in a constant state of threat, that...
Right.
And we did not stop to kind of support or to talk to or to talk through with our children. It's kind of like, oh, that was over. Okay, now we can go outside. Okay.
Yeah, I'm making that face because I'm pretty sure I didn't do that with my child.
Yeah, most of us.
Okay, we good. Come on, let's go.
Exactly.
Hurry up. We got some catching up to do.
Exactly, because that's what we've done. That's what we've done. That's how we've learned.
Suck it up, keep it pushing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's a lot of us who went just back into, oh, okay, you can go back to school now. Let's go school.
But is it too late to have those conversations?
It's never too late. Okay. It is never too late. When you talked about like, what are some of the things that we can do, first we have to acknowledge. We have to acknowledge our trauma, and our recent trauma and our historical trauma, and how those are still carried with us. We can give our children an anticipation, conversations around anticipation, and normalize what they experienced, and also where they might be struggling. We can name those things, even if we see it, because so often our children pick up on our coping, so they don't name things. They don't acknowledge it. They stuff it down. And I often say behavior is the language of children. Adults need to learn to listen.
Yes, indeed. Dr. Holmes is with me, 800-920-1580. If you have something to say. Of course, I want to talk about what we have to do. What's our accountability to ourselves to moving forward? And we've got some traumatic situations going on in the world. I want to look at how they might impact us and what is the best way to navigate, acknowledge, and then what's next after acknowledgement. We got a lot to talk about, and you're invited in, 800-920-1580. We are KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Family Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. It's time to get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data, and you get to choose who joins your family plan starting as low as $25 a line.
Does it have to be family?
It can be family or people you like.
Get more lines and more savings. Switch to Straight Talk for family plan starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at Walmart and straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
1 in 3 children born today will get diabetes. This sad prediction by the Centers for Disease Control will come true if millions of Americans don't improve their lifestyles, especially by changing what they eat, how much they eat, and how active they are every day. Every 23 seconds, another American gets diabetes. Stop diabetes before it starts. To learn more, contact the American Diabetes Association or download our free diabetes education programs at learningaboutdiabetes.org.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, you're getting back to Dr. Erica Holmes, and I'm happy she's in the studio with me. 800-920-1580 if you've got a question, comment, or conversation. I know they're in the YouTube chat talking about us. I'm about to look. You stay busy, by the way, at the Champion Counseling Center at Faithful Central Bible Church. You guys have waiting lists and all kinds of, but you also have resources for everybody as far as like online stuff that folks can access.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we developed a website about 3 years ago called normalizehelp.org. We wanted to provide a kind of one-stop shop for how to find a therapist. What are some of the questions that you might ask? A lot of people think or might say, oh, I went to therapy and it just, I didn't like them or it didn't work. So then they never go back. And my analogy is always like, so if you go to one restaurant and you don't like that restaurant, do you say, I'm never going to eat out again? So finding a therapist can be challenging, and you shouldn't commit if you don't feel that it's a good fit. And so you just keep trying and trying until you find one where it really clicks. And so we have some of the myths and facts about therapy. We have recommended books and self-help books that people can read. So normalizehelp.org, we created that because we were not able to meet the demand of answering all the questions and the phone calls. So it's a one-stop shop for folks who might be thinking about taking that step into getting some help.
I mean, I love that so much that you guys, I know it's a lot for you, but I love so much that you guys are overwhelmed and busy, because it means that folks in the church are not rejecting, help from mental health professionals like yourself, and that we're starting to understand that it's not either or.
Yes, the tide is shifting. Stigma is reducing. I think part of that is because more pastors are becoming savvy about the importance of taking care of your mental health. We're able to look to scripture to support that Jesus came not just for our souls, but also had a true concern about our physical health. He says, I came for the brokenhearted. The heart is the seat of emotion, right? It's not spiritually broken, it's brokenhearted. In the same way he said, I came to heal the blind. He tangibly, physically healed blind people. That wasn't just a spiritual blindness. So people are able to see that, to recognize that, and to connect with that, because it's starting from the pulpit. And it's a movement that I'm so excited to be a part of.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, and I love that in every area, just regular walk of life, but also church, because I know, some of our elders said, you don't need a psychologist, go talk to your pastor.
Exactly.
And you probably need the psychologist and the pastor.
Right. Our moniker, I even had a sweatshirt made that says prayer and therapy.
Prayer and therapy. I love that. I think I need that sweatshirt. So, you mentioned some areas of maybe we're doing too much. We're like, we back outside.
Right.
I also feel like conversations like what we're having because of Diddy's troubles, Diddy's actions, alleged actions. I don't know why we're saying alleged when we've seen this tape.
We saw the video.
And that video was really triggering for a lot of folks.
Yes, it was.
And really I felt like it shook some people out of denial, which is interesting, because so many people have called me over the years every time these type of things come up and say, why do they wait so long? They're liars. They just want money. And some folks shifted the narrative after they saw that tape. But I wonder if we are watching it and keeping it pushing when we should be facing our own trauma or whatever it is we should be doing.
I think it goes back to that keeping your head down and keeping moving forward. I think I had someone else ask me about why did it take the tape for us to believe it when there were so many other allegations. And many of us don't want to acknowledge it, that those things happen with people who we begin to admire, right? That we place on a pedestal, and we don't know what to do with it. And we don't know what to do with it. So does that mean it's similar to what happened with R. Kelly? So there's the camp. Do we listen to his music anymore? Do we not? Do we boycott the radio stations that listen to it? Do we not? What do we do when it comes on? Does that mean I support them and their behavior because I like their music? So I don't think we know what to do with it. And in some ways, it puts us in a position where we have to acknowledge our own traumas, or what might have happened to us in relationship, or what might have happened to our parents in relationships, or what might have happened to our friend in relationships. So sometimes I also think that then we have to look at ourselves and what we've experienced. And many of us are like, we don't have the bandwidth to do that.
I mean, what does it mean to be triggered?
So a triggering means that there is a stimulus or something, a stimulus, something that stimulates and reminds a person of their actual trauma, pain, or experience. And a trigger, the unique thing about a trigger is that in that memory, we begin to experience emotional, psychological, and physical symptoms or behaviors as if that we're reliving that trauma. So it causes us to have a trauma response. And so many people think that a trigger is there's a one-to-one relationship, like, oh, I saw him physically abuse her and I'm triggered because of some abuse that I had. But a trigger can be a smell. A trigger can be a sound. A trigger could be a briefcase. If, let's say, someone was physically assaulted by a parent who worked in the office that always carried a briefcase. Like a trigger could be anything that causes a sensory memory that causes us to have a response, a trauma response as a result of seeing or being exposed to that memory.
So it's whatever it is.
It's whatever it is for the person.
Okay. So two things about that. One, do trigger warnings work when they say, when videos come up and it says this might trigger you? Does that work?
No.
I wonder.
Not if you're warning me to turn it off, that it could work in that sense.
You're right. If you don't watch it.
Exactly. If you don't
but
watch
most
it.
of us will just say, "Oh, trigger warning. Let me watch it." Ah!
Exactly.
Okay. And then the other piece is, what's the right response if you're feeling triggered? We might not even know what it is that's causing us to feel that way, but if we start feeling a way, what's the right response?
So the right response, number one, is to be aware of what's happening within your body. So we need to be attuned to what's happening in our bodies. And there are certain things that we can do, simple things to calm down our central nervous system. One is just doing deep breathing. The simplest thing, you could do it in the car, driving, just doing deep breathing. And if you practice, you can start off by breathing in through your nose, counting in your head for a count of 5, and exhaling through your mouth for a count of 7. You could do that anywhere. It is shown to...
So doing breath work to calm us down, is that what it does?
Exactly. Breath work has been proven to induce a state of relaxation, to calm down the central nervous system, to take us from this middle part of our brain, which is called the limbic system, which is where the fight, flight, or freeze lives. It helps us to get access back to our frontal lobe, which is the higher order thinking, so that we can make conscious decisions about what our next move is. When we're triggered, we're all in fight, flight, or freeze in that midbrain, and we have no access to the frontal lobe, so we're not making good decisions.
Interesting. So start with breath work.
Yes.
Do we need to figure out what it is that's triggering us, or does it not matter? Just breathe and try to calm yourself down.
Well, after you're able to do that, if you get that frontal lobe back to working, then you could start having more higher order thinking, be introspective, be reflective. You can journal, because you might sit there and think, what is this? What is this? But if you start journaling it, it allows for your frontal lobe to kind of process and uncover things that you might not be able to just think of internally. So you can do things like journaling. Even folks now will use the record function on their phones, and they'll do a verbal journal for people who don't like to write. So you can do a verbal journal. You just need to get it out and just start free flow talking without judgment, without being afraid or ashamed that someone else might hear it.
So just the very act of putting that out into the universe, whether it's in a journal, written journal, or a spoken journal, is the first step towards some kind of relief.
Exactly. And it'll help you to be and relief and awareness. So you could say, oh, because there might be things that you either thought that you were over, or repressed, or don't acknowledge. So it could bring to your awareness that these are things, and so this is something I need to work on.
It's time for news, traffic, and sports. Then we'll continue our conversation with Dr. Erica Holmes and you on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The U.S. military is working to repair a temporary pier used to deliver humanitarian aid to Gaza. Defense Department spokesperson Sabrina Singh told reporters it'll take about a week to fix the pier. The pier broke apart over the weekend due to rough seas and will be towed to Israel for repairs. The U.S. and allies were able to deliver about 1,000 tons of humanitarian aid into Gaza. In Tennessee, 4 former Memphis police officers charged with the murder of Tyree Nichols are in federal court this week. The black man died 3 days after being beaten by the officers during a traffic stop in 2023. Demetrius Haley, Tadarius Bean, Emmett Martin II, and Justin Smith were scheduled for pretrial hearings both yesterday and today ahead of their federal hearing in September. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Seasons change. Why not your tech? Upgrade now during the Dell Technologies Summer Sale event and save on select PCs like the XPS 16 powered by Intel Core processors. Exceptional prices await you at Dell.com/deals.
Is this the tackle? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The LA Sparks got some revenge on Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. After losing to the Fever Friday at Crypto.com, the Sparks beat the Fever by 6 in Indianapolis Tuesday night. The Sparks are 2-4 in the first month of the WNBA season. 22 points for Sparks guard Kia Nurse. The Sparks overcame a 30-point performance by Clark. The Sparks are at Chicago Thursday night. The Dodgers swept the Mets in New York to snap a 5-game losing streak. The Dodgers and Mets played 2 games Tuesday to make up for Monday's rainout. The Angels beat the Yankees by 1. Taylor Ward's 2-run double in the 8th was the game winner. The Boston Celtics will have to wait a little longer to know who they will play in the NBA Finals. The Minnesota Timberwolves avoided a sweep in the Western Conference Finals with a 5-point win at Dallas. Game 5 is Thursday in Minneapolis. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. La 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 la. With up for 40 days of consistent sin. On low Febreze car clips right on your vid. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Salutations, kinfolk and family. It's Slink Johnson. Los Angeles is known for some of the greatest tacos in the world, but none better than the Original Taco Pete. Visit them online at originaltacopete.com or check them out at 3272 Slauson Avenue near the corner of Slauson and Crenshaw, or 2251 Rosecrans Avenue, or you can always have Grubhub, DoorDash, or Uber Eats delivered. Original Taco Pete, home of the Black Taco. Black owned for over 35 years and 4 generations.
When I move my body, I feel like freedom. Happy anniversary, KBLA.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
And they wondered if a black talk radio station would work in Southern California.
Y'all did it!
Well, KBLA Talk 1580 toasts its 3rd anniversary on Juneteenth, and you're invited to celebrate with us.
Hey, Tabby Smiley, y'all the bomb!
All you have to do is go to KBLA1580.com right now and sign up. Admission is free, but mandatory, and space is limited. Once we reach capacity, we'll have to cut off the online registration, but it's open right now.
Oh my God!
So don't delay.
Thank you guys for being the best at what you do.
Log on to KBLATalk1580.com right now and register to join us for an afternoon of good music, good people, and good vibes.
Happy anniversary.
Wednesday, June 19th, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. We will provide the food and drink, but be sure to bring your low-back chairs, blankets, and your personal picnic baskets.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Let's celebrate 3 years of being the most trusted, credible, and reliable source of news and information.
We love you, KBLA.
We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're black and stride again.
Back and stride again. Happy anniversary.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
And I'm so happy to be here with Dr. Erica Holmes. If you are like me and you sometimes need help, you might want to go to normalizehelp.org, normalizehelp.org, and there's all kinds of resources there. Dr. Holmes, you also have a podcast, a video, audio podcast situation.
Yes, I do. We've been doing the podcast for about 2 years. It's called Living Well, and it's on YouTube and also on the Faithful Central Bible Church's Facebook page. And we have now about 40 episodes. And
wow, nice.
We have guests that come on that talk about various areas of mental health, of just living and surmounting the challenges of day to day. We have some fun. We just did one on physical health where we had a boxing instructor come in, and we actually did some boxing for cardiovascular health. So it was really, I love that episode. That was one of my favorite episodes. But they're
boxing
there
for cardiovascular health. Okay, so it's all over the place. All the things we need to be addressing:
mind, body, heart, and soul.
Mind, body, heart, and soul. Okay, and so just go to the Faithful Central YouTube channel for that.
Yep, and we have our Living Well channel, and you can see all the episodes.
All right, sounds good. So you mentioned some basic challenges that you're seeing a lot of people facing.
Yes.
A lot of black people facing right now.
Yes.
And one of the things you said was about this general sense of anxiety. Maybe it's post-COVID. Maybe it's inflation. I think I mentioned Diddy. I also worry about what's happening in Gaza because not only is it terrible, terrifying, and horrible, the images coming out are constant, and I think about our kids watching babies be killed, day in, day out, and the world is not mobilizing the way we should be. And I don't think you have to have been through a war to be traumatized by that, do you?
Right. No, you don't. And again, when we talk about the fact that Black folks in America have experienced historical trauma that has never been processed as a community, seeing those images can also, we talked about triggers before the break, can also trigger some of the trauma responses, trauma history, trauma adaptations that we have as Black folks anyway. And so it's kind of compounded on that. So we don't have to have lived through that type of war,
right?
But as a community, we've lived through an attempted genocide, and so it can trigger us in that way.
So how should we be taking care of ourselves in terms of processing that anxiety?
I think part of it is turning off the news and not spending or limiting how much we do intake. and limiting or choosing the ways that we do intake. So maybe rather than looking at a lot of visual images, we read some of the information versus looking at it. We limit how much, rather than keeping the news on in the background for the 4 hours that it's on in the morning. We say, okay, I'm going to watch 45 minutes of it, and then I need to move to something else, whether it's a podcast or the radio or something like that, so we can be aware, and also be aware of what our children are intaking, whether it's on social media because it's coming across social media feeds, or whether it's television, or even the TV that we have on, and the child is just walking through the house. So being aware of that, and also choosing to have purposeful conversations with our children, because so often we think, oh, they don't know what's going on, or they're not listening to this, and it's like they know. And they're also often getting misinformation or skewed information depending on the algorithm of their TikTok, Instagram, or whatever, Snapchat, their friends. So might be getting misinformation. So it's good to have those conversations and let the child lead, so that you can really hear what they're thinking and how they're thinking about it.
Interesting. Listening, in other words.
Yes.
Yeah, and I also think about the college age students, because right now they're speaking up against injustice and they're being punished for it. Some are losing their opportunities to graduate, being suspended academically, punished. So I think, how traumatic is that? We're telling you that you have a right to protest. We're telling you this is a free country. And then when you stand up for the injustice that you see, we're punishing you for it.
Sadly, the U.S. has a history of that behavior, right? So this is not anything new. They have a history of this. They did it during Vietnam. The punished protesters. And so, again, I think talking to our kids about our history, and also talking about what does it mean that you might not graduate from this school, but you upheld your own ideals and values and morals, and what does that mean, and how can we plan for what the next thing looks like for you? Because you might not be able to go to X school over here where you wanted to go and it was your quote unquote dream school, but obviously the school's behavior has shattered that dream. There's a school for you. There's a place for you. And so helping them to find that place and telling them that it's okay.
That's interesting, because I had someone on the show. Oh, it was Sharon Kyle from the LA Progressive.
Yes.
And she said, that a lot of the people that did protest during Vietnam, and they took punishments in terms of school, their paths took a different turn, and it actually turned out to be for the better, because it changed their life to a life of some kind of activism or commitment that they might not have otherwise chosen. I found that encouraging, because it's the old, they meant it for evil, God meant it for good kind of conversation, right?
That's right. Or your steps are ordered.
Yeah.
So knowing that it all has a purpose and it's not over. It's not over. And the fact that you stood up for something that you believed in says a lot. And I think it can do a lot to build self-esteem, to build character, to also build like this dogged determination that I won't be stopped. So I think there's a lot of good that can come out of standing up for what you believe.
Yeah. So processing, I started this conversation with processing this general anxiety or malaise that we may be having from COVID, but I feel like watching social media and some of the conversations, that the things that are happening in the news are also taking a toll right now. And you also mentioned, social challenges, like we're having a harder time with relationships, which were hard enough already than we had prior to the emergency phase of COVID. Do we all need to go to like relationship school, or, what's the answer for grown adults? Don't make me cuss, Dr. Holmes, who now don't know how to just do regular, mom and daughter let alone romantic relationship.
Right. And that's why I said I see conflict in all types of relationships, not intimate or romantic relationships. I think people just need to take a chill pill. Right?
Is that a prescription, Doc?
It's the only one that I can write. But I think that if we go back to this idea of deep breathing and self-care and acknowledging your own traumas and your triggers and being aware of those things, then I think that the way that we interpret the intentions of others can change.
The way that we interpret the intentions of others. That goes back to what you were saying about people being extra sensitive and putting all kinds of meanings on things that might not even be there. And I do want to talk about that because I feel like sometimes, okay, it's not a confessional, it's just a fact. Sometimes when I'm talking with my girlfriends, we do that. You overanalyze every little thing a person said and did. So what's the right way to have that conversation? We'll look at that when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Hey, LA residents, it's planting season and the perfect time to get shade trees growing around your home. LADWP and City Plants are giving every resident up to 7 free trees. That's right, 7 free trees delivered right to your door. Trees are great for the environment, help improve air quality, and can help you save on your bill when you use less air conditioning to stay cool indoors. Learn more at ladwp.com/free trees. That's ladwp.com/free trees.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles is a nonprofit law firm that protects and advances the rights of the most underserved, leveling the playing field and ensuring that everyone can have access to the justice system. Every year, LAFLA provides free, high-quality legal services to more than 100,000 people living in poverty across greater Los Angeles. Their unique combination of neighborhood offices, self-help centers at courthouses, and domestic violence clinics puts Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles on the front lines in vulnerable communities and at the forefront of change. LAFLA's expert team of attorneys, paralegals, and support staff works to provide direct representation, offer counsel and advice, provide referrals, and educate the community about their legal rights through workshops and seminars. With locations all over LA, you can access their services or volunteer to help no matter where you live. And if you have an urgent issue, call 213-235-0060. That's 213-235-0060. To get legal help, make a donation, or volunteer, visit lafla.org. lafla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
You belong here, and I'm so glad you are here. 800-920-1580 if you want to weigh in. So, yeah, one of the it's become almost like a trope between men and women. I can't read your mind, so you have to tell me what you want. But yet we take things people say and we go into, not all of us, but a lot of us, and I don't know if men do this, women definitely do, start analyzing, well, girl, he said that because he probably meant this or that. And we do our amateur shrink, and amateur counselor. How should we be? How do we move away from this sensitivity that you're talking about that can take a simple interaction and turn it into a problem?
So I would say the simplest thing is to ask the person, can you explain that further? It's so simple.
Rather than guessing what they mean.
Exactly.
Just ask them what they mean.
And then reacting to what you've guessed. And now we have conflict because now I'm looking at your reaction like, what's happening? So I think that that's important. I also would say going back to circling the conversation back to triggers and your own awareness, also be aware of your own sensitivities. Because someone can say something to you that kind of scratches a wound that they didn't even know was a wound. And so you interpret it based on that past hurt, missing their true intention.
Right. And how do we become more aware of those soft spots or trauma spots?
Taking a breath when you feel, again, being aware of what's happening in your body. So when you feel yourself like, what was that? Rather than saying something to the other person initially, take a breath and ask yourself, like, what's happening? And is this, the way that I'm interpreting it, is this consistent with who I know this person to be? And then you can ask, like, when you said that, what did you mean? And they might say, what? When I said what? They don't even know that they said anything because there was no intention of malice or hurt or anger or aggression. And then, even saying, you said this is what I heard you say. Is this what you meant? So checking in with the other person, allowing them to tell you, well, yeah, you're right on track. I've been meaning to say that forever. Or, girl, that was the furthest thing from my mind.
Right. Yeah, because it's back to what you said earlier. It's how we're receiving it sometimes.
Exactly. It's how we're interpreting it. And the lens through which we view or hear what they're saying. And that lens is tainted by our own past experiences. And a lot of times that lens is tainted by a film of mistrust because of what other people have done to us. So we're hearing with ears of suspicion.
Is it even possible to give someone a fresh start? Like if you're starting a new relationship or if you have a relationship, a family relationship, because we are, as Erykah Badu would say, bag ladies. How do we, make sure we're not, that film of distrust is not bringing dirt to a relationship that doesn't need to be there, whatever kind of relationship?
Again, it goes to awareness and making a conscious choice. We are the sum total of our experiences. So I don't necessarily think that we can say it's a fresh start, but what we can do is go into a relationship with a conscious mind.
Yeah.
Right? And I can be conscious of who I am and what I bring into this relationship. Again, whether it's a girlfriendship or whether it's a parenting relationship or whether it is a romantic relationship, what I can be aware of is me.
Yeah. Man, woman, know thyself. Dr. Erykah Holmes, Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
Hi, this is Quentin. A little thing I love about Chick-fil-A chicken strips are how satisfying they are. The chicken strips are amazing. They're always filling, crispy, tender, and juicy. Definitely one of my favorite things on the menu. Especially when you add in that Chick-fil-A sauce. Always the perfect combination. And then personally, you know me, I'm getting a 4 count. I want as much chicken as possible. I'm that guy. Whenever I get them, whether it be lunch or for dinner, in my household, it's always a winner.
Order the chicken strips on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real customer paid for their testimonial.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Tia Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Tia Chuchas opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Tia Chuchas Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
To help combat climate change, LADWP is helping neighborhoods have better access to electric vehicles by awarding nearly $130 million in EV rebates to customers just like you. From big savings on used EVs to building new charging plazas, LADWP is charging ahead to help all Angelenos experience the benefits of EVs. Get rebates of up to $4,000 for a used EV and $1,750 for a charger. Learn more at ladwp.com/EV. That's ladwp.com/EV.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio, KBLA Talk 1580.
So, yes, I should definitely thank Dr. Erica Holmes. She's helping me out with a few personal problems during news, traffic, and sports, and I'm here for it. And I just want to remind us all, normalizehelp.org is there.
Yes.
And also, we can check out your podcast.
Yes, Living Well.
On the Faithful Central Hub on YouTube. You have a book.
Yes. Yes, I actually have 4. But
you have 4 books?
Yes.
Oh, my, I got some reading to do. You have 4 books. Okay, and we can get those at wherever we get our books.
Anywhere you can get books. Amazon. They're all on relationships, coupling, dating, marriage, intimacy.
Yay.
Yes. Yes.
I feel like we are, like, as you said, we are making progress.
Mm-hmm.
How about some basic tools that, you've said ask, don't assume.
Right.
You've said breathe,
mm-hmm.
feel our bodies,
mm-hmm.
check in with ourselves and know what's going on. Know our triggers and the things that we're sensitive about.
That's right. And the first thing that I would say is acknowledge that we're all walking around wounded to some degree. So none of us can go through this life unscathed. That doesn't mean that you have a diagnosable disorder. That doesn't mean that you're defective in some way. It means that, as life is lifing, it leaves some residue. And there's always ways for us to improve, ways for us to work through the bad experiences that we have so that we don't continue to carry them into the next relationship, whether it's a friendship, a dating relationship, or parenting, and so that we don't carry it like a weight on our backs that we don't acknowledge. We just dredge along and just think life is so heavy. So if we just acknowledge that sometimes life is hard and it gets to us and we might need to work through that in some way, I think we would go a long way towards our healing.
Yeah. Okay, so this conversation has launched a couple of other show ideas. So, because I can't ask you a question with 1 minute left, let me say, what do you want to leave us with this morning, Dr. Erica Holmes?
What I would want to leave you with is the reminder that you are perfectly and wonderfully made, and that even in your frailty and with your flaws, you are exactly who you're supposed to be. And we can always take small steps to get a little better.
Thank you for that. I love that message. I feel like I need to repeat that at the end of the show. You are wonderfully and perfectly made.
Yes.
Let's take some small steps. Dr. Erica Holmes, thank you for helping us take a few of those steps.
Thank you for having me on, Dominique. It's always a pleasure.
Wealth Building Wednesday on your phone calls coming up on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The U.S. military is working to repair a temporary pier used to deliver humanitarian aid to Gaza. Defense Department spokesperson Sabrina Singh told reporters it'll take about a week to fix the pier. The pier broke apart over the weekend due to rough seas and will be towed to Israel for repairs. The U.S. and allies were able to deliver about 1,000 tons of humanitarian aid into Gaza. In Tennessee, 4 former Memphis police officers charged with the murder of Tyree Nichols are in federal court this week. The black man died 3 days after being beaten by the officers during a traffic stop in 2023. Demetrius Haley, Tadarius Bean, Emmett Martin II, and Justin Smith were scheduled for pretrial hearings both yesterday and today ahead of their federal hearing in September. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Seasons change. Why not your tech? Upgrade now during the Dell Technologies Summer Sale event and save on select PCs like the XPS 16 powered by Intel Core processors. Exceptional prices await you at Dell.com/deals.